I am here today without my co-host, flying solo, to talk about the UFC's desperate attempts to fix the July 13th card, Namajunas versus Tracy Cortez. Now, if you know, you know. This is an absolutely dog shit card. It's really, really bad. So we've got a 3-round main event, which is Namajunas versus Cortez. Previously, Barber versus Namajunas. Still a bad main event, especially for an arena. And then the old undercard, basically, it was never good, but then it started getting worse. Like Drew Dober, he had an opponent, Mike Davis, he pulled out, so it just started, the whole card started falling apart. But now, on like a week's notice, the UFC is trying to save the card, and to be honest, they've done a pretty good job. They've not done a bad job at all. It's still a pretty below average card, I can't lie. It's nothing special still, but it's definitely a lot better than it was. So today I'm going to talk about the fights that they've added to that card, break them down for you, and then also some new fights that they've added to UFC 305 in Perth I'll be talking about today. So starting off with the July 13th card, which they're trying so hard to save. First fight they've added to that card, I'm very excited for this one, is Damon Blackshear versus Montel Jackson. Now, this one is going to be an absolute banger at bantamweight. Montel Jackson hasn't fought in almost a year and a half. He's really good though. I'm a big fan of his. I believe he's just been pulling out a lot recently. He's been having a hard time just getting to the fights, but he's a great fighter. When he actually shows up, he's pretty fantastic. And he's fighting Damon Blackshear, who's just coming off of a loss to Mario Batista. Controversial loss for sure. Everyone thought Batista lost that fight. It's a bit up in the air. I definitely don't think it was unanimous like the judges said it was. But anyway, I think that's a fantastic fight. I hope Montel Jackson wins this one, because I'm a big fan of him, and I definitely think he can. But ultimately, I'm just very excited. Now, the next fight they've added to this card, a 22-year-old prospect at flyweight. You might know who I'm talking about, probably because you've already seen the announcement. Josh Van is fighting Charles Johnson. Now this is a very, very technical striking match at flyweight. If you know, you know. Josh Van is the second coming of Max Holloway, kind of, at flyweight. He's got a very Holloway-esque style with the way he picks it up, and his output increases as the fight goes on. Very impressive. I believe he's 3-0 in the UFC. He was just meant to be fighting Tagir Ulanbekov, which was a pretty bad matchup for him, I can't lie. But Ulanbekov missed weight because he's a fat weight bully, and you know the Dagestani's just, oh god, you know, there's no title to grab, so he missed weight. But yeah, so Josh Van is now fighting Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson just beat Jake Hadley. That was a good fight. He did well against Jake Hadley. Jake Hadley, pretty unimpressive. Ultimately though, this is just an exciting fight. This is a guaranteed exciting fight. It's going to take place standing. There's no way either of these guys grapple. I just don't see it happening. And I can see Josh Van hopefully getting this one done. I really hope he does. This is a great fight for him. I really think stylistically, this is a good fight for Josh Van. I think he'll be able to get it done. But it's going to be very exciting. We know that for a fact. He's a great prospect. If you don't know the name, definitely watch out for him. He's on the rise, 22 years old, and he's putting it together in the UFC. Future champ material, 100%, I reckon. Now, the biggest fight. This fight's absolutely insane. This fight is really weird that they've added to the card. So coming off of a knockout win last weekend at UFC 303 against Charles Jourdain, Gene Silver is stepping up to lightweight to fight Drew Dober on this card. What on earth is that about? That is absolutely insane to me. Drew Dober, obviously, he's a big lightweight. Walks around at like 190, I believe. So I'm a bit worried that Gene Silver's going to get a bit mogged by him. But obviously, Gene Silver's a big featherweight. He did just miss weight. I do think Dober might mog him. Can Gene Silver crack the Crimson Chin? I don't know. I don't think he can. Matt Favola did. But Matt Favola's a lightweight. I don't know. I'm not sure. What's guaranteed here, though? Someone's getting chinned. Both these guys are going to slug it out until someone dies, I reckon. Very exciting fight, definitely. I like Drew Dober, I do. but I'm hoping Gene Silver wins this one, to be honest with you. I'm definitely a bigger fan of Gene Silver, especially after his performance versus Charles Jourdain at 303. I feel like I mean, I'm a fan of a lot of fighters, guys. Hear me out, but I think Gene Silver stole a fan from Charles Jourdain that day. You know, I was always picking Charles Jourdain. I was a big fan of him. Absolutely loved him. Loved his striking style, everything. But Gene Silver stole me as a fan that day when he knocked him out. I'm now a Gene Silver patriot. I'm not loyal to him. I'm not loyal to any fighter, it seems. I'm fucking floating around. This is just a cool fight. I hope Gene Silver wins. I don't know if he will. I have a weird feeling he's not going to. It's a scary matchup for him, especially when he just fought last week. But the ball's on him. Respect. Big respect. He's done what he had to, and he's probably safe a card. Let's be honest with ourselves here. This is definitely bringing a lot more to the July 13th card. Still not a great card though, if we're being honest with ourselves. But those 3 matchups have definitely boosted it to like a bit more of a par fight night. It's in an arena. That's one thing to take into consideration. If this was in the Apex, I would look at this and go, it's an Apex fight night, and it's a good Apex fight night at that. But this is an arena fight night, and they stack them. They do. They usually stack arena fight nights, and they're usually really good. Like look at Nascimento versus Lewis. That just happened. That was a beautiful fight night. Very stacked card. I was a big fan of that one. This is nothing in comparison. It's not even close. So this is in an arena fight night. This is a definitely below average card. 100%. It's better than it was, but it's still pretty bad. Anywho, right. Moving on to some fights that have been announced for UFC 305, which is in Perth, Australia. Obviously, main event is Adesanya versus Du Plessis. We know this. I'm going to cover the main event a little bit, actually. Why not? So, Adesanya's getting a title shot against Du Plessis after losing to Strickland. I'm not a fan of this. I don't think Adesanya should be getting a title shot. I really don't. I think a lot more movement could happen in the division if, Strickland rematched DDP and then Whittaker fought the winner of that one. I feel like Adesanya is just getting in the way a bit, especially if Adesanya wins. Oh God, imagine if Adesanya actually wins this fight. It just puts the division back into chaos. And I think he might win this fight. I think he might. It puts the division back into the Adesanya age of they kicking at range and every now and again having a really good performance. It's just not good. He doesn't deserve a shot though. He doesn't deserve a shot. How many immediate rematches can you get coming off of a loss? Apparently infinite if you're Israel Adesanya and you have all the Dana White privilege. My thoughts on who's going to win this fight, as I said, I feel like Adesanya might win. I do. I really do. I feel like for some reason every time a guy has something to prove, he proves it. He comes in with a tit and he wins by knockout or has an amazing performance. I don't know. I think DDP is big. He's a lot bigger than I thought he was. I saw him at the face-off the other day because they did a press conference and they're almost the same height, which doesn't check out because DDP is listed as like 6'1" and Adesanya's apparently 6'4", which he's not. Like, let's be honest, Adesanya's like 6'2.5", 6'3" maybe. Well, they're almost the same height, and DDP's a lot broader than him. So I could see DDP having a lot of success here in the grappling if he tries to implement it, which he will. He always mixes in some grappling in his fights, so I feel like that will predominantly be part of his game plan. Striking wise, Adesanya will probably dog walk him. DDP's striking is awful. I will say that it is really bad. Watch it versus Sean Strickland. He's winging overhands, like completely missing, and it was pretty embarrassing to be fair. But it was the wrestling that won him that fight. So if DDP wants to win this fight, which obviously he does, I think the grappling is going to be the numero uno thing he needs to focus on. All that being said, for some reason I can see Adesanya winning. Really, really hope not. Really hope I'm wrong. Because if Adesanya does win, as I said, it plunges the division back into the dark ages, and I can't be arsed. I really can't be arsed with that. I can't. Who knows though? Who knows? We're going to see come fight night. all this speculation will be over soon. The next fight they've added to this card, I believe this is going to be the co-main event. Fantastic fight. Really big fan of this one. I wish this was a 5-round co-main. It might be. I don't think it is. If it's not, they should make it one, because this would be amazing over the space of 5 rounds. Kai Kara-France versus Steve Erceg. Now, Kai Kara-France, last time he fought, he got robbed against Amir Albazi. And Steve Erceg just had a very, very close title fight with the champion, Alejandro Pantoja. This is a fantastic fight. I think this is probably the most exciting fight that they could have made at flyweight. I'm just very excited to see it. Two great strikers. Obviously, Kai Kara-France is a powerful striker. I think if we're talking pure striking, Steve Erceg is better. I think Steve Erceg has very clean boxing. It's not even underrated anymore. After the fight versus Alejandro Pantoja, his boxing isn't underrated. People recognise that he's got amazing hands, which he does. Just a great fight. If it's a 5-rounder, that'd be beautiful. I'd love to see this over 5 rounds, because I don't see either of these guys managing to get a finish in 3 rounds. Whereas if you take it to a 5-rounder, there's a bit more chance for a finish, and there's just a bit more chance to let it play out. You know, that's what I'd like to see, especially with flyweights, because they're so technical. A 5-round flyweight fight, in my opinion, I like it, unless it's a Pantoja 5-rounder when he just like camps in half guard. But you know, that'd be great. That'd be a great fight. I'm very excited for it. I'm picking Steve Erceg to win that one, probably by decision. And then Steve Erceg will be moving up to number 4 in the rankings. Honestly, he'll be getting another title shot soon. He'll move up to number 4 in the rankings, and then maybe fight like Brandon Royval, fucking beat him. Oh, I can see it all now. He'll fight Brandon Royval next, and then he'll get another title shot, and he'll beat Pantoja like he was meant to. I'm telling you, Steve Erceg is championship material, and I don't think any of the top guys can actually beat him. I actually don't. He's got very high level grappling, underrated. He obviously made a lot of mistakes against Pantoja in the grappling, but he knows what those mistakes were, and I don't see him making them same mistakes again. I think he can hang with a lot of these guys in the grappling. He's going to be champ, guys. He's going to be champ. Alright. Little Steve Erceg glazing session. I'll call that one. So, next fight they've added to this card is Junior Tafa versus Walter Walker. Alright. So, 2 brothers of bigger names in the UFC. So obviously Junior Tafa is Justin Tafa's brother, and Walter Walker is Johnny Walker's brother. Both coming off of a loss. Tafa just stepped up on a day's notice for his brother, who had to pull out this fight. He just stepped up on a day's notice versus De Lima, got absolutely battered, got his leg destroyed in that fight. And then Walter Walker just had his debut. Was hyped as his big 5-0 prospect, and he did really shit. He displayed some awful fight IQ. He did pretty horrendous. And for that reason, I'm going to pick Junior Tafa to win this fight, to be honest. It's I don't know. It's a bit of a pick, innit? Like, it's... Who knows, really? But I hope Junior Tafa wins. But it's a pretty exciting fight. That's guaranteed. I think this is going to be an exciting fight. It's a good early prelim fight, or maybe even like a prelim opener. It's a good fight. Anywho, next fight we've added to the card, the return of Jack Jenkins. Now, he last fought, God, I don't know when, about a year and a half ago maybe, and he dislocated his shoulder, or was it he broke his arm? He did something to his arm against Chepe Mascal, and that definitely halted his career for a time. And he's facing Gavin Tucker. Now, Gavin Tucker is a vet, we know this. I don't know how he's still fighting. The guy just can't stop, apparently. I think this is going to be a pretty easy fight for Jack Jenkins, to be honest with you. If it's not, then that's going to be a bit concerning. He was a very hyped prospect until it all kind of went downhill for him after the arm injury. Yeah, he'll be able to get it done. It's a good comeback fight for him on a big stage, obviously. I think they'll put him probably headlining the prelims or something like that, because this isn't like a massively stacked card, so I think headlining the prelims would be good for him. And yeah, I think he'll be able to get a win here. And it's an exciting fight. Now, up the card, and this, in my opinion, is the probably most exciting fight on this entire card. This is such an underrated fight. If you know, you know. right? Real ones know. Li Jingliang versus Carlos Prates. Prates? You know what I'm talking about. Carlos Prates. So, Li Jingliang hasn't fought since the Diaz versus Ferguson card. Now, that was bloody ages ago. Very long time ago. He lost a robbery decision, blatant robbery decision versus Daniel Rodriguez. That was... Li Jingliang did not lose that fight. But then he was meant to be fighting Michael Chiesa, and he had a back injury. A very bad back injury, and he's been out for all this time. I sympathise with Li Jingliang here. I've had a few back injuries. It's no fun. But he's been out for a while, and he's coming back versus Carlos Prates. This is a awful comeback fight. I can't lie. Prates is a dangerous guy. He's got incredible Muay Thai. I am a Muay Thai enthusiast, right? So I can appreciate some great Muay Thai when I see it. He's coming off of a really, really good body shot knee TKO against Charles Radke. This is just an exciting fight. Two strikers. I don't see this going into the grappling. I'm buzzing. I'm really, really buzzing for this fight. I saw it got announced and I was like, oh, I'd rubbed my hands together. So excited for this fight. They could put this as a main card opener. To be honest, it's a fantastic fight. To be honest, I hope Carlos Prates wins. I do. I love Li Jingliang. He's a lovely bloke. He's a fan favourite as well. We all love him. But I'm a sucker for Muay Thai and his fighting style. I'm just such a big fan of it. And also, I'm not saying he wins just because I like him. I think stylistically as well, he's going to be able to outstrike Li Jingliang. It's just a bad matchup for Jingliang to come back to after being away for so long. That being said, I don't see Prates being able to finish him. Because Jingliang has got a... God, that's so hard to say every time. Jingliang. Every time I want to say his name. Jingliang has a great chin, so I don't see Prates cracking his chin. But that being said, maybe, after a few years off, or however long it's been, about 2 years I think. But I'm going to take Prates by decision here. Great fight though. It got me very excited. I'm still very excited for it. I believe... Oh God, when is the 305 card? It's August 17th, I'd like to say. So not long. And in between then, obviously we've got 304, which is a really good card as well. I was meant to be going to watch that one live, but I'm not anymore. But my co-host, who isn't co-hosting today, he's away. He's in Albania. He's going to watch that one live. So I'm very jealous. But anyway, that is the conclusion of this video. I've done my waffle session talking about all the fights that have been recently announced, pretty much, that I wanted to cover. Also, Shamil Gaziev is fighting Dontel Mays. Book it in your calendars, August 3rd, the return of the Blob. Just putting it out there. But yeah, there's me. Flying solo today. Hope you liked it. Just me, gabbing off on my own. I'll be uploading again on Monday, I don't know what. And then there'll be a little hiatus, because I am also disappearing for a time. So yeah. Hope you enjoyed. Nice one, thank you.